what do we have here? The brand new Fluminer L1 Pro 6 gigahash home Dogecoin miner. Let's get it opened up. All right, we got some fancy new blue Fluminer tape here. Oh, we got, oh my gosh, ton of padding, which is great. Love to see it. Oh my gosh, almost lost it. Let's put it on the floor here. All right, we got some mounting brackets, screws, and a wireless dongle there. A little antenna. We got our power cord. Oh man. Okay, so our power cord is not the type that I would expect. We'll talk about this here in a minute, especially for us in the US. All right, let's get this out of here. Anti-static bag. Awesome. Glad to see we didn't cheap out on any packaging. Whoops, sorry about the, that is loud. Let's get this opened up. I don't remember my original Fluminer. I have the original Fluminer. I don't remember that one actually coming with an anti-static bag, and this must sound wonderful in the microphone. So I'm sorry. All right. All right, we are upside down, the wrong way. Here we have it. Huge shout out to the team over at aslminer.com for sending us this L1 Pro 6 gigahash model for today's video review. So this looks pretty much identical, other than the sticker, at least from my perspective, as the original Fluminer here. We got Fluminer right down here. And you can see we have some intake fans there. We'll actually open this up, take a closer look. We have the screen. Oh, actually, I got some nicks in mine, right? Not the end of the world. Not sure if you can see it on camera. One here and one there, but not the end of the world there. IP button here, LED and reset button there. Let's kind of flip this around. We have Fluminer on this side. We have our exhaust on this side. We have our power supply up top. Now, the power here, it's interesting. Their website says 1200 watts in one spot, 1400 watts in another. So we're definitely going to test this. I can't test this at the wall here on a normal American plug. This is a 15 amp, 120 volt. Because of the reason that I just don't have dedicated 15 amp 120 available. So we are going to test this on 240 today. We do have an antenna spot here, as well as an Ethernet, TF card, which we won't use. Other than that, nothing else too crazy that we see. Taking a look, we do get these additional mounting brackets if you do want to go ahead and rack mount that, which is nice. I'm not going to use these, so we'll put those aside. We will install the antenna, and challenge with this one is, at least in the US, is, you know, this is kind of your stone face man. This is a C19, usually goes to a C20. This isn't necessarily going to work for what we're doing here, let alone with a PDU, or that wouldn't work over here if you actually did have like a 20 amp or a dedicated 15. So this is definitely not the plug that I would recommend. It'd be nice if ASL Miner had a US option to give you a different plug or something along those lines. So definitely something to look forward to in the future. Hopefully they go that avenue. So let's go ahead, open this up and see what's inside, and then we're going to test it. All right, we had one screw on the top, two on the back, and one on the bottom. Let's go ahead and get this popped off. Oh my gosh, look at the size of this heatsink. This is absolutely wild. So let's go over at least what my untrained eye sees, and then we'll go ahead and get this powered up. So we have fans in the front here, most likely our intake, the way things are designed. We have intake coming through the front, blows through our heatsink, which is actually pretty massive here. This is, what is this? Oh, this is just a plastic pullback. Let's take a look here. All right, there we go. So you can see it goes through the heatsink and then it gets pulled through. So it has a push and a pull type of design, which is actually pretty slick. And this is actually there to help keep the heat in, which is a really good design. So we're gonna push that heat out the back, going from one side to the other. So it's going to put out a decent amount of heat. We see our hash board, pretty much this whole thing down here at the bottom is a hash board. I mean, this is an ASIC at the end of the day. So we have our hash board here. Our ASIC chips are directly underneath our heat sinks. We are not going to take that off right now, maybe in a future video. Let's go ahead, pop this up here. Whew, there we go. Look, you actually see some of our copper heat pipes in there. So then what else do we have here? Well, we have a board in the front that's just an LED board pretty much with our buttons and such. We do have our control board is actually right underneath here. It's actually hard to see. I'm trying to get in there. Our control board's right here. And just like any other ASIC, we have our control board where our fans go into the control board for like the front and the rear for the fans. We have our hash board here that actually talks to the control board via ribbon cable, just like a normal ASIC would. That pops up there. And then you can actually see here, we have two bus bars that are transferring the power from our power supply down actually to the hash board. So one, and then this weird sideways one is two. Other than that, nothing else too crazy that we do have here. The control board, just like we would on a normal ASIC, does have our Ethernet and then wireless, which isn't normal for a full-size ASIC, but that's pretty much it and everything that we see. Now, you guys might be able to see it back here where my hand is. There's a whole nother heatsink right back here. I can feel it right here. Same setup and design. The fans are actually split. See the fans actually, the hash board is right in the middle of the fan, so it's pushing airflow through both sides of the actual ASIC, which is pretty badass. All right, let's get this plugged in. Have our Fluminer all set, ready to go, plugged into a PDU with a C19 to C20. And it's actually full dedicated down here, so fully available. Let's go ahead, get this plugged in, and I'm going to get it configured, and then we'll check back here in a few minutes to see exactly the hash rate and watts at the wall. Once again, huge shout out to ASL Miner for providing us the Fluminer L1 Pro for today's video review. I'm gonna leave a link directly down below, guys. If you guys do want to order this, you can get it within 7 days. Pretty much they're currently in stock, which is awesome, and will ship. I'll leave links directly down below and a discount code if you're interested. There's actually 97 people watching this right now, which is pretty slick. So let's take a closer look. So here we are over on the Fluminer dashboard. We've been mining pretty much with about 15 minutes. We're just shy of that currently right now. The hash rate I've seen as high real-time hash rate as 8 gigahash, but I want to go ahead and look at everything from the average, which we're about 6.05. Look at that, 6.06, which is great. Now let's go ahead and run through the dashboard, see what we can find. The power says 1,448 watts, but here's a quick screenshot that I took with my phone. We're at 1,554. So on their listing, they have 1,400 listed, which we've learned in the industry, everything is plus or minus 10%. But down here, they have 1,200 listed. So I'm on the hunt for different hash modes if they actually have them, because that's one thing I want to look for is, are there different hash modes, as well as will this mine on my 2 favorite pools? So we'll take a look at that here in just a minute. So taking a look here, we're going to click on overview. This gives us all the stats on the miner, nothing special on this screen. Running settings. Now we do have on this model versus previous Fluminers, we have an auto speed control as well as 100% fans. On auto speed control, if we go back to the dashboard here, we're only at 2,140 RPMs, which is great. And like that room right now is 83 degrees Fahrenheit. So you guys will see in a minute. So the fans aren't blasting or roaring at all. Looking at pool settings, we are set up on ViaBTC currently. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. There is the Wi-Fi settings that we can set, wired settings as well. You can set it via static, and we can upgrade. I don't have any updates yet, but we can upgrade the firmware on both of these or change the password. Now there is a system log here on the left, as well as a miner log on the left as well. We have reset miner, which will factory reset it, or we can go ahead and reboot it. So we are up on ViaBTC. It's only been 15 minutes, but we actually have our original Fluminer over here, the L1, and we also have the Fluminer L1 Pro. Now, odd to me is that, I mean, it doesn't have a 24-hour average, which I get it because it hasn't been up for that long. You know, we haven't been up that long to get some averages there, but we are doing well. You know, poolside it's showing 5.13 after 15 minutes. So it's still getting there. Pools are always a few minutes behind. So something I do want to try, we're going to try before the end of the video, is mining on PowerPool. I'm a huge fan of PowerPool. I have a number of my script miners over there right now. And the original Fluminer does not work on PowerPool or a lot of other pools out there. That was one problem I had with the original Fluminer. It only worked with about 3 pools. We're going to see if it works with my other favorite pool, PowerPool. If you're interested in ViaBTC or PowerPool, I'll leave links down directly below. So right now, the Fluminer L1 Pro, based off of just some overall manufacturer metrics, 6 gigahash, 1400 watts. I'm putting in my electric rate 0.072, which is my electric rates over at my shed. I won't be running this here. Our revenue is $8.40 a day. It's going to cost us an electric $2.42. So if you have free power, this thing would be badass, bringing in a profit of $5.98. Now, what I want to do is let's go ahead and go back to the Fluminer. We're going to base this off of our average 6.02 and accurate watts at the wall. So we're going to put 6.02. We're going to put 1,554 for the power at my electric rate. Let's hit calculate. And it's definitely bringing in a little bit less than what we expected, you know, because of the amount of power too. You know, this kind of gives us an idea. Now, which one's more accurate is mining now or what to mine? We definitely have to see. But what's important to me is we're earning about 30 Dogecoin a day. Huge win. Love to see it. Now, the revenue is saying right now $6.45, where just to give you an idea at the current time, Dogecoin is at 21.2. And our cost per day is $2.69. And our profit per day is $3.76. So I love to see it. I'm currently stacking Dogecoin. So I love to see that we're currently able to stack 30 Dogecoin per day with this miner. All right, so it's actually been a few minutes and you can actually see we're now up to 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Let's go ahead. 29 degrees Celsius if you're curious. And the watts have actually gone up a tiny bit. The fans have sped up a tiny bit here. So you can definitely see that the fans and the ambient temperature are definitely important. But let's go ahead. I do have this in the middle. Let's go ahead and be quiet and take a look at the dB levels. So we're about 52 to 53, and let's step back about 3 feet and see what we get. 48. So yeah, it is not that loud. Very comparable to things like the Canon Avalon Q that we see out there, other Fluminers that we've seen out there, some jazz miners as well. Definitely quiet. You can hear the fans, absolutely, but that's also when it's 85 degrees Fahrenheit and there's no airflow in this room at all, but they are not monsterly loud. Definitely something I can recommend for home miners. So another huge win for this miner. We have tested this on PowerPool and a few other pools out there, and I'm proud to say that the Fluminer L1 Pro does work on other pools. That was something that I was concerned about where we ran into with the original L1. I've been testing this for a little while now, and I'm happy to say that with a firmware update, the L1 Pro does work on PowerPool. We right now actually have it up. I'm going to refresh real quick on PowerPool, and let me swap this over to script. And you can see here it is, Fluminer L1 Pro test. Now, we've only been up for about 18 minutes right now. Always a little bit of rejected shares, only 0.26, but we are up and running. It's right now registering 5.33 gigahash and continues to climb. So if you are considering this miner and unsure about previous models, there is a firmware update and will be listed on their website super soon that does support multiple other pools. I want to be as transparent with you guys as I can. This miner needs hash modes. People cannot run 1,550 watts on a traditional home mining setup in the United States where you have 15 amps versus over in Europe and other countries where you might have 20 amps. I did search through all of our menus. We do not have an option for different hash modes. I would love to see Fluminer connect with actual home miners and just get some feedback from them before putting out miners. I'll be honest, it's a big turnoff. A big win with Canaan was that their Canaan Avalon Q has 3 different hash modes. You know, your eco, your super, your normal modes. Fluminer really needs to connect with their home audience and demographic. Not everyone can run this at 1,554 watts. All right, so do I recommend the Fluminer L1 Pro for home miners? Absolutely. I think this is a great miner. We're about to step into fall and winter. This one unit could heat your entire downstairs. Let's be honest here. I mean, 1,554 watts could put out a lot of heat, and I'm definitely planning to do that. I'll put it in the shed for now, but I am going to move it directly over to my house once we get into fall and winter and heat the home. I do think this is a good miner when it comes down to your hash rate and watts at the wall, especially for the current price of this unit, which is about $2,599 over on ASL Miner. Huge shout out to ASL Miner for sending this unit over to us for today's review. Let me know what you guys think of this miner directly down below.